Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm all over the place. So yes, I was dealing with it far.
But you're getting to watch both, and they're pretty much the same thing. They both want the same thing. So that's what I mean. They're just showing that homosexual people are not that different to
no, they're
heterosexual
not.
people.
No, but look, this may be wrong, and I'm sure that there are many. Our prejudices and our thoughts are based on our experience. Okay, now I've had experiences with maybe under 10, 15 homosexuals that I got to know.
As a friend?
Yeah, not necessarily just in my
in
overall life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like overall. I think most people would be
colleagues.
about the same nowadays if they'd lived my length of life. But I was lucky in that I got to live with one. You know what I mean?
I had 2 mates.
Yes, but you didn't
No,
live
very
with
nice.
them. And you really get to know somebody when you're living with them, you know. So my initial... And because he had a weak character...
You can't stereotype.
No, I can't, and I'm not trying to. But you know how in your mind you've got that little nagging voice there that you have to beat down? The prejudice that's in your mind, and you know it's a prejudice, and you beat it down. And I've got many because I came from such a Neanderthalic kind of environment sort of thing. The prejudice in my mind that initially created how I thought about homosexuals in the first place identifies them as weak people because of my first experience with a homosexual person who was a weak person. And so I constantly battle against that. And I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just simply being honest and saying that's what I have to fight against, because I know that there are a lot of people who are not weak because they have shit thrown in their faces every single day and they can still be nice to other people. And so I know it not to be the case. It's never going to go away. It's a part of your mental DNA, if you will. And it's just interesting that, like, that's how, you know, we are tarnished with certain thoughts that don't go away, even though we know them to be false. Strange. And I thought about all that this week while I'd watched the film.
This has been a real deep podcast.
I didn't mean it to be so.
I know, I'm just sitting here going... Well, but it was bound to be. It's an Aussie film. It's about a homosexual. It was. I should have seen it. The plot's
quite simple, though, isn't it? Like it's not.
No.
But it is done very elegantly towards the end. I think, you know, and it pushes all the buttons and it does them beautifully and bang on.
Well, how many stars would you give it, Paul?
I really was impressed with it. I thought it held up really well. I'm going to give it a 7.
That's interesting. I'm going to give it a 7 as well.
High five! It's the first one!
I think it's the second one.
What is it? Oh my God. Maybe you're starting to think...
This is freaking me out,
Can you explain why you came to your decision on...
I actually thought, even though it's not a great quality, because obviously they don't have tons of money to spend on this, the context... And the contrast between the 2 different styles of filming.
So you think that context is everything?
Do you need a smack? Gosh.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, go on. I should shut up. Yep.
Oh. Look, I just thought it worked out well.
Right, okay.
And I think it still holds up today. And I think even though it's an obscure Australian film, I think other countries would get something out of this.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, look, guys, if you are overseas and Hola, is it Hola or oh? Yeah,
what
it's Hola. I'm saying something in Spanish because we got
Hola.
Hola, we got the Spanish listeners, and we have. Oh, this is great. I love this stuff, and we got people in Sweden who listen to us, and we got people in England and Ireland.
I'm still shocked.
Why? Yeah, and lots of Yanks. Hi guys, hope you're enjoying your dysfunction. Because we've got it too. It's great, isn't it? Oh, God.
We're just like following you.
Oh, look. If you're going to go fascist, well, God damn it, so are we.
Oh, this is so sad.
Oh, I've got to go home and shoot myself. I'm already home. Excuse me, where's the gun? All right, okay.
Oh, we don't have guns.
We don't have guns, but any day soon. Anyway, good.
So some of us, 7 stars.
7 stars. Both of us have come to it on 7 stars.
All right.
And Oh my God, this is the longest we've waffled on one particular subject.
But I don't think we spoke about the film that much.
Yeah,
anyway.
I know. But I mean, it's going to happen more and more. And I think people should... Look, we're never going to turn into the Joe Rogan experience. That's a podcast that goes for like 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's too hard.
Yeah, no, he just gets guys and they sit on the couch. They all drink copious amounts of piss and they just waffle. Yeah, great listening, but it's more of a conversation.
Oh, okay. You mean like what's happening here? We're drinking copious amounts of alcohol and talking.
Precisely. But like people like, they, as I said, they do the dishes and just have us on in the background, and occasionally they'll turn around and say, oh, he really shouldn't have said that.
Speaking of copious amounts of alcohol,
yep.
I reckon we'll take a break.
And are you down? Oh, you are too. You're empty.
I'm empty.
Oh my God.
And when we come back, we get to talk about one of my favourites.
Which is?
What we do in the shadows.
What we do in the shadows.
But we'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay. Now, there's also one little bit of housework that we've got to do as well.
What's that?
We have to address the demise of Paul's magical movie moments. Simply, it's kind of failed. I'm going to continue. We've had some technical issues with it. That's why we kind of promised that we'd do one last week and it never happened. And it's purely because I've upgraded one of my computers up to Windows 10, and Microsoft has fucked me and fucked me again. So thank you, Bill Gates. Go fuck yourself.
Oh gosh.
So yes.
I use your technology, but fuck you.
Fuck you. But look, as I said, it's. I shall continue working at it, but like I've beaten my head against the wall until it's red and bloody now, and so I'm going to just plot along in it. If I can get it working, and I can make this happen.
I think we both need to go and do an IT class for idiots.
Oh, I need to go on down and have a chat to Stewie about it. So yeah.
Hi again, Stewie.
Hi, Stewie.
Hope you're enjoying this podcast.
Yep. Watch those pedestrians, mate. All right.
Anyway, so
he really does not like our intro.
Oh, we'll work on it.
I'm sure there's other people who go, yeah, no, he's right too. It's shit.
It's terrible. The sound quality's bad.
Guys, everybody, if you can just persevere a bit, I'm going to sit down and put a bit of time aside, and I'm going to make a lovely intro.
Are you?
Yes. Probably not, because I never do anything properly. But anyway, we can tell people that, and as long as they don't know, oh shit.
Tequila! Yeah.
And go.
I was about to say, we know you're sensitive, Paul.
I'm not sensitive. Oh, yeah, okay, all right.
Anyway, so...
Don't make me cry.
We're going from a sensitive film to a not sensitive film.
What are we doing again?
What We Do in the Shadows.
That's right, yes.
So 2014 film, New Zealand film.
Would you like to give us your the dulcet tones of your synopsis, please?
Dulcet tones. Vampire housemates try to cope with the complexities of modern life, followed by a documentary team, and show a newly turned vampire the perks and lifestyles of being a vampire.
Superbly said.
And it's short. That's pretty much it.
Sorry, I promised I wouldn't eat any nuts, but I lied.
So you're going to sit here chomping away while everyone's listening?
No, I'll stop now. It's good. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Gotta soak up the alcohol.
They're so boorish. Just one more little nut.
So, yes, I watched this and I thought it was hilariously funny, so I watched it again.
And again, and again, and again.
Well,
yes.
Not too many, but yes, I really enjoyed this.
Okay. Now, tell me, could you perhaps tell me why you enjoy it? Explain to me, as if I haven't seen it myself, hang on, I'll put the question to you. What about the humour? What is it about this particular style of humour that you find so appealing? I
was thinking about this today because the last favourite I put up was Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yes.
And that's a bit of a dark humour. And then I realised this is a bit of a dark humour.
And yet you hated The Death of Stalin.
That was not funny. That was not... There was no humour in that whatsoever.
No, we're not doing this again.
These are genuinely funny. Yes, there's a little there's a little bit of darkness, but it's played off so lightly.
Okay, so...
Things like, Nick's character's running to get away and they're all chasing him, having a wonderful time trying to kill him.
Yep.
And suddenly Peter gets him and they go, oh no, Peter got him. Oh, poor guy.
They're like...
Oh, who let him out? Just some of the phrases just make me laugh.
Oh, look, I find the accents make me laugh sort of thing because, he's trying to put on, I think it's a Viennese kind of accent, would you say?
Viennese?
From Vienna?
I didn't pick that. I thought it was more east, further east.
Further east.
But I could be wrong. We'll say, I don't know. I don't. My
Croatia, Transylvania. Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm not an expert.
I don't think it was like. Yeah, I think it was like he was a fop from Central Europe somewhere, perhaps Bohemia.
I think you're being too hardcore about the accent.
Do you want to talk about strategic?
No, I don't. No.
All right, because like all right, shut up.
No, it's a comedy. That's what it's going for.
That's
I love
what
it's a mockumentary.
Be. Right. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
And I just thought it was hilariously funny. Made me giggle.
Look, and have you got anything more to add to that?
I just thought it was good. It just made me laugh.
It's just one of your favourites, and you don't need to justify it with words.
It's not like it's got a strong message or anything.
I guess it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Being included into a group?
Well, you look at the arc of the main character, for example. Like, there's several arcs going on all simultaneously.
Oh, yeah.
And he is smitten with this woman who is, in an old folks' home.
Oh, yes,
I think he is the main character. Am I incorrect in thinking that his character is the main character?
Oh, look, I think it's hard because there's a lot, like you said, there's many arcs going on. If we're really looking into it.
Yeah, and because the mockumentary. But my favourite has to be the Vlad. I can't remember the second half of his name. Vladislav of it. Yeah, it's just beautiful, and he's...
Yeah, Jermaine Clement's hilarious in that.
He's very good.
It's funny because the last couple of films I've seen him in, it's all this portraying as like a sexual sort of thing, and I'm thinking, wow.
He's just this like 16th century machismo.
Have you seen Dinner for Schmucks?
Je ne sais quoi?
No, Dinner for Schmucks.
Oh, it's close, I guess. It's all French to me.
Jermaine Clement's in that.
Yep.
And he's playing this sexy artist sort of guy. And I thought, gosh, he's enjoying this far too much. And he's doing such a great job, really.
Yes.
And it's a similar, not the same, but a similar role to what he plays in What We Do in the Shadows.
Right.
And he actually has co-directed this with Taika Waititi. So the two of them have, written this up, directed it, and they're like the key guys in it. So obviously they've had too much fun with this. But
you can ask me now.
What was the question?
What do I think of the film?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. How
many gins have you had?
I thought it was something much deeper, like, what did you think of this or that? Or I'm sorry. Paul, what did you think of the film?
I hated it.
Did you?
No, not really. No.
I picked it as if you're going to hate it.
Oh, well, I've watched it once before.
Because I asked you over and over and
over. Guys, I've been harassed over this movie. This movie and me have got a little bit of history. I'm not entirely sure why Pip loves it so much. Now, after the debacle of the death of Stalin, I am sorely tempted to rip it to pieces. But...
Oh, don't do that. You do it solely based on whether you like it or not.
Because I'm a fair person, I am not going to rip it to pieces because I found, overall, I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, but, I watched it the second time and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to really get into it this time. And I was really looking forward to it. And it was okay. It was fine. I laughed a few times, and that's good for a comedy. That's my son snoring. Just on the floor there.
He's not on the floor, he's in a bed.
Well, yes, I suppose. So look, I get why you like it, I think.
Okay, why do you think I like it?
Oh, Jesus, that's an open question.
This is insight now. Come on, hit me with it.
I think this is your narcissism coming out now. I think don't tell me you don't have it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have ever suggested doing a podcast in the first place.
No comment.
Yeah, exactly.